Good morning. This is Dwight Mitchell from Mitchell and Son 3D Printing Services. We just wanted to do, as we start off this new year, 2022, just to do a bit of a roundup of where we've come from, when we started over the last 2 years with this pandemic and everything that's gone on, how we've managed to survive, what we've done, what's been happening. Because it's been, it's been for most people, I think it's been a roller coaster couple of years. Sadly, some companies haven't made it, some people haven't got through this, but there's a lot of companies that have been able to adapt and survive in many ways. So it's very good in that regard. So from our perspective, what we've been doing. And I think I've been thinking about it this morning, how we've managed to get to where we are at the moment, and where I am personally at the moment. If we look back and we look, because we like to think that we've somehow developed ourselves and we've made ourselves who we are and all that kind of stuff. But throughout life, through everything that we've gone through, all the people that we've that's come across our paths, whether they've been good experiences or bad experiences, they've molded us into who we are at this stage in our lives. And if I look back, to 18 years ago when I first came to the UK, I ended up working in for Eaton Aerospace down in Devon. It was really good experience. There's some really good people I worked with. A lot of a massive learning curve. I hadn't worked in the aerospace industry before, so it was quite a good learning curve doing working on the Airbus A380, doing the fuel systems and the floor struts and the wing struts. So it was very good, and there was a lot of really good people. I ended up transferring up here to Southampton, where I'm currently based. And again, some really, really amazing people that we worked with, some really good, strong people, people that taught me a lot. I remember, the CEO of the factory up here, Tom Garvey, really such an inspirational person, and he taught me a lot about leadership and leading other people, and his willingness to humble himself when people from the floor came and gave him ideas, gave him motivation. He was very, very good and inspirational. And I think that is helped me and developed me to where I can be at this stage in my life. Ended up working for Nokia. Nokia was again such an amazing company. Sadly, we all know what ended up happening to Nokia at one stage. It was a really, really good company to work for. A lot of very good, inspirational people there too, and I think that's helped me to get to where I am. Moving on and working for Watsilla in Haven. Good company there too. A lot of good inspirational people, and with all companies, you got the bad and the good. So and you got to kind of think, do I allow those people that have come through, whether it's through Eaton or Nokia or Watsilla or any other company, do I allow the negative people that come into your life to destroy you, to crush you, to make you, to put you under their thumb, or do you allow those experiences, the good experiences and the bad experiences, to help you mold you and develop you? And I think these are things that I've had to learn over the last few years, which I find very helpful. And sometimes you do allow these things to to get you to try and crush you, and you've got to rise up above those. And this last, say, 2 years with the pandemic, it's again been very instructional. Had a lot of again, you interact with a lot of people through BNI, through other networking events. And again, you get the good and the bad in all of that. And you've got to kind of filter it out, see how I can develop as that and how I can rise up above that and move on, move forward. But yeah, I set up the company officially by registering it with the company house in July 2019. And I thought, okay, this is something I'm going to do. I'm going to drive this forward. I'm going to make this something which is very, very good. And I saw the gap in the market. There was a real gap in the market there for to close the gap in the market, if you like, because I saw that I did my training as a mechanical engineer or motor mechanic 2019, and basically I've had that desire to drive forward and to work with in the engineering sector for many, many years. So anyway, 3D printing's come along. It started, I think 3D printing's been around since the mid 1980s, but it's been commercially available to most people probably about the last 5 or 6 years. So a lot of people at Whatzilla started getting really involved, really into the whole 3D printing. I started looking into that. I thought, well, this is a good avenue to go down. Looking down at the classic car market, the classic transport market, cars, boats, trains, whatever. And there's a gap in the market, a real gap in the market, because of the fact that a lot of the cars that are pre, say, 19, and a lot of transport, say, pre 1990, 1980, don't have electronic data. So probably pre 1980, don't really have electronic data for the spare parts, and everything was hand drawn. Because I know when I did in 1990, when I did my apprenticeship, we were still hand drawing everything on boards, and so the whole CAD system hadn't really kicked in in a big way, in a commercial way, by 1990. Anyway, so when I launched the company in April 20, officially launched the company in April 2020, once the pandemic had really started, we got involved there with supplying medical equipment for hospitals, so face masks, face shields, and other medical devices. There was quite a big drive by the 3D printing community throughout the UK to make this happen, to see this happen, and to drive this forward. And many people got involved, and there were hundreds of thousands of these face shields that were printed for hospitals, for care homes, and all that kind of stuff. And we got really involved in that, which was really good and exciting, and it was a real boost in the beginning, because it gave me that real encouragement that this is the right direction to be going. As you know, we all went into that second lockdown, the end of 2020, and that kind of drove, almost ground a lot of businesses to a halt. Beginning of 2021 was really tough. I thought, oh, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to drive this forward? How are we going to keep going? Should I keep this going? Is this something that I wanted to keep going? And it's, again, a lot of encouragements came through that. But the back end of 2020, I had a project that I did with for the MOD and the in conjunction with BAE Systems, which was a very small project, but very good and inspirational project. Again, one of the things which I found that just proved to me as an individual that this was the right thing with closing the gap, because they had a drawing from the late 70s. They never had electronic data for it, and they wanted this part to be remade. Again, Routemaster buses based up in London. I know there's not a massive amount of, I think apparently there's only about um, 10,000 of these route masters around the world. So there's not a massive amount, and they are spread globally. So there's no concentration of any amount. So they wanted the ray indicator redeveloped and redesigned because they couldn't get hold of one, which I was able to work with them in that regard. I had a few architect companies come to me and ask me to 3D print houses, samples, so that they could show their customers in various different forms, which we did. We did a project for Snug Architects based here in Southampton. We did another project for Hartley Homes, which is based up in Romsey, which is very good. We did a couple of projects actually for Romsey Homes within 2021, which was very encouraging and very, very encouraging. I mean, as the years gone by, we've also done, we've done works for M-Track. That's just creating 3D models for them. To which is and what M-Track is, they are a high performance race parts for the BMW M Series cars. If you know all the BMW M Series cars. We've done some work for Redbox International, which is based in Totten, and they do a variety of, a very good variety of personalized selected tools and accessories for the engineering sector. You should check them out. They're very, very good. We've done a joint live stream with Mark 3D, which is a UK supplier for Mark Forged 3D printers, Metal X 3D printers. You can see them online, and there's many examples of their work at various different shows and exhibitions around Hampshire and the rest of the country. So we also did, we've done some work for Kingsley, who are Kingsley. They are a company that restores and gives a new lease of life to the Range Rovers. They're based up in Oxford. Brilliant company. The work that they do, I've been up to their site a couple of times, probably 3 or 4 times, and the work that they do is absolutely outstanding. The way that they can take the car, because you go to their backyard and you see some of these Range Rovers and these cars which are pretty much been abandoned and completely left to rot. Kingsley will take that car and completely revive it and bring it back to life as new. And it's really inspirational seeing the work that they're doing and working with them. We've also decided to, because the UK government launched near the back end of last year a campaign where it's made in the UK, sold to the world. So we've launched a campaign on the Department of International Trade to reach out to the USA and to EU with electronic data. I know that sending out physical parts to the EU and to the US can be quite expensive and time consuming, but because of the fact that we do all our stuff, which is CAD data, can be exported via electronic means through emails or SharePoints or anything like that. So we've launched that at the back end of last year, which has been very good. Like I said, we've been working with architects, engineering companies. There's Fibercore based here in Southampton, and what Fibercore does, they make filtration systems for a variety of different industries, like the shipping industry, the aerospace industry, the hotel industry. So we are busy working with them currently to develop or to prototype and then to manufacture a very small little filter for them. We've also been working with an electronic car company, a very small one, not a massive company called SsangYong. SsangYong is they are a South Korean based company. They do electronic cars, obviously, and we designed a little. It's a battery cover little clamp thing, if you like, for Sangyong, which again has the potential of being distributed in Europe. I know that there's a number of distributors in Europe who are very, very open to this design, to be able to and to wanting to use the design that we created for Sangyong. So the back end of 2021 has been very exciting. There's been a lot of opportunities that have come up, and a lot of very exciting projects which we've been very encouraged by. We've also worked with, let me just, sorry, my notes. So we've also have membership into our second year membership with a number of professional organizations. One is the Specialist Vehicle Associates. So they deal with all kinds of specialist vehicles, in other words, older cars or and stuff like that. But they are an association of people and industries that deal and support with specialist vehicles. We're also into our second year membership with the Federation of British Historic Vehicle Clubs as a trade member. So we support the classic car industry from that side on the here in Britain. As a trade organization, we also are looking to be registered with the European and it's not only the European, but it's the Global Federation of Historic Cars. We're also into our second year of membership with the Mustang Owners Club of Great Britain as a trade member. Again, supporting there where parts need to be redesigned or remanufactured. We also are members into our second year membership of the Vintage Sports Car Club as a trade member, again supporting where we can to be able to redesign and remanufacture parts that need making for those much older cars, pre-war cars, where there definitely isn't any technical data, electronic technical data, and also where a lot of those parts are incredibly rare and incredibly expensive to get hold of, where we're able to remanufacture for them. We also had the privilege in the summer, near the end of the summer last year, to do a volunteering stint with the vintage classic car, sports car club up in Silverstone, which was really good. It was my very first time behind the scenes and in the pits at Silverstone, and it was a really, really good day. Just there was still restrictions, so public wasn't allowed to attend, but there was still a good number of cars that were there and a lot of good. It was just a very, very good day out and a very good opportunity and a privilege that I really enjoyed with working and helping out with that. As we came to the back end of 2021, again, like I said, October, November, December, very good months for us, very good projects, very good experiences, and we really had a joy. But then came Christmas and New Year. Now, Christmas and New Year traditionally is a bittersweet time for me, a very bittersweet time. I love Christmas. I love the family, the friends. I love what Christmas represents and the birth of Christ and Him coming into the world. I love the meeting with family and, like I said, friends, and having times of games and the food. However, it's also, like I said, a bittersweet time for me because at the same time, my father died over 35 years or over 30 years ago, just before Christmas, and it's also my mother's birthday at the end of the year. So quite a bittersweet time for me. However, then also we got hit with COVID, the whole family. My daughter got it first. She ended up having COVID, and she got quite sick 2 or 3 days. Then my wife got it quite badly as well, and then I got it. So we're only just getting over the whole COVID thing now. So been what 2 3 weeks that we've all been battling with the effects of COVID. Thankfully, we are all come through that quite nicely. So hopefully 2022 will be a very, very good year for a lot of people. Hopefully that we'll get over this, the effects of COVID and move forward. We're also working with a number of other people on various different projects. Because of the whole COVID and the 2.5 weeks of being down with that, I'm a little bit behind on a few projects. So, apologies to anybody out there who's waiting for a project from us and it's a little bit delayed. But I am working to try and resolve any late coming. So I do apologize for any delays in your projects or any delays caused by us being laid down for this last for 2.5 weeks, the end of December. But going forward, looking at 2022, what has 2022 got in store? Well, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a magician. I'm not a soothsayer. I can't see into the future. And I thank God I can't, because I'd be worried if I could see what was actually going to happen. But our hopes are that things, the way that they are at the end of 2021, will go forward. I know that beginning of 2021, we've had quite a low audience on LinkedIn, quite a low audience on Facebook, quite a low audience on Twitter. But I'm very thankful that coming this side of 2021, we now are, well, this broadcast is going out to over 6,500 people. So I'm very, very thankful for that. Thankful that there is a very good audience in the automotive industry, in the manufacturing industry. Um, so it's good. It's good to have being able to look 2 years down the line at the experiences that we've at the projects that have come along in 2021. And I think if all these projects that we've had at the back end of 2021, during what is a global pandemic and what is a time where things have been very uncertain, 2022, as we start to normalize and governments and people start to accept the fact that we've got to kind of live with COVID, and businesses have to keep going forward. We can't keep shutting down. Looking at 2022, I look at it very optimistically, and I think if 2021, if 2020 and 2021, during the pandemic, there was so much uncertainty and so much lockdowns and all the crazy stuff that was going on in 2020 and 2021. If we're looking at 2022, looking forward into that, you think, well, it can only get better, because if 20 we can't keep going on the way we have for the last 2 years as a business or as a country, as a society. We look at 2022 and we think this has got to be the year where we start to normalize as a society, as businesses, and people start to learn how to live with what is going to be a long-term virus with us, and how businesses can adapt and protect each other and move forward into what is a long-term um, pandemic or a virus, and how we can then grow and how we can develop and how we can support. I mean, social media, this whole Zoom and going online just shows that we can still work without having to put other people at risk and putting other people into jeopardy, and we can still work across borders without having to use carbon footprint, without having to use and to expend a lot of energy and money. We can still work with each other. We can still go forward and collaborate as businesses with each other without having to um, go to the expenses we had before 2020 and before the whole pandemic kicked forward, so that we can now, as businesses, start to learn to adapt to a new way of life, a new way of doing business, a new way of communicating, a new way of collaborating with each other. And I think by doing that, if we can do that as a local society, as a global society, we can. This 2022 can be a very good year for business around the world. Here in the UK, in the US, in the EU, we don't need the borders. That's what this pandemic has shown us. We don't need to be traveling across borders. We don't need all the expense and having to go to that travel hundreds and thousands of miles. We can communicate effectively, virtually, live, one to one with each other by the internet. We've got this tool. Let's use it. We've got this tool. Let's grow thereby. Let's use it to encourage and strengthen and grow and develop as businesses, as individuals, as people throughout 2022. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. And I thank you for listening. I thank you if you've listened, if you've paid any attention to what I've said. And let's hope that 2022 will be a year where businesses grow and thrive, where communities come together and support each other, where we can get beyond the muldrum of this pandemic, where it no longer will be something that holds us back as individuals, as people, as businesses, where it will no longer cripple societies, where we can grow using a tool that we've had since 1990, the internet, to develop and grow and to become great in 2022. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you have a really, really good year, and that this year will outweigh 2020 and 2021, that this year will be the year where the benefits of the internet and growing together will outdo all the losses that we felt in 2020 and 2021. Have a good day, have a good year, and let's work together and grow together. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.